You're listening to the Life Friendly Business Podcast. I'm your host, Erin Thomas Wong, business mentor, author, and founder of the Cocoon VIP membership, empowering women around the world to build businesses on their terms. If you want to grow and scale a business that works in harmony with your family and your life, this podcast is for you. Hello, I'm Erin Thomas Wong and welcome to the Life Friendly Business podcast or vodcast if you're watching this on video. So things have been going really well this year. 2022 is fighting back, I think, after 2 years of the pandemic, and I am loving seeing how many of you are making strides in your business and really taking things to the next level. The Evolve Mastermind is absolutely buzzing. I've got 2 pods on the go at the moment and I'm now full until September. So if you're interested in joining the Mastermind, please do check out the website lifefriendlybusiness.com. We've got loads going on in the Cocoon as well. I introduced some new virtual co-working sessions, a drop-in business clinic with me. Also, we've got social media and marketing planning sessions. So loads of stuff to really get your teeth into and different ways to learn new skills to help you fill those gaps of your knowledge when it comes to running your business. So coming up now, we have got our Easter school holidays in the UK. Now, some of you may already be on holiday when you're listening to this podcast, but it made me think because I was speaking to a friend the other day who works full time, and I mentioned that I don't work during school holidays, and she was quite taken aback because actually, there are 13 weeks of school holidays in the UK. 13 weeks. So if you are employed, most of the time you get 4 or 5 weeks holiday a year. So for those of you who don't have school-aged children yet, this might be a bit of a shock because it is a massive realization. And this is why people have to rely on holiday clubs and pay lots of money for them, and also on family and friends and things like that for childcare. So one of my aims really of working for myself is the fact that those 13 weeks of school holiday, I am around to look after the kids. Now, when I say I don't work during it, what I mean is I don't schedule any calls. I don't make any commitments. So my kind of daily routine, I do mentoring, I have my Evolve Mastermind clients, and I have the Cocoon as well. And also I do some one-off events. So in the Cocoon, I do not schedule any networking calls, any business clinics, anything like that during the school holidays. I mean, also, I know that my ideal clients are on school holidays as well, most of the time. So that's absolutely fine. But the point is that I made that decision that I didn't want to be. One thing I find really hard is being in mum mode and then dipping out to do a work call and then going back again. And, that kind of mindset shift can be really tough. So that's one thing that I decided that I didn't want to do any calls unless there's something like super urgent. So I set expectations with the Cocoon and also with mentoring clients and with the Mastermind as well. So with the Evolve Mastermind, we normally have one call every week. And I always say right from the beginning, term time only. And during half term or Easter holidays or summer holidays, I will be on Voxer. So, if they need me, I will respond. Also, I'll check into social media because I have a very social media type business and check in on things like that. But the point is that I can do that entirely in my own time. So I am not committed to doing a call on Thursday at 10 o'clock when actually it's a gorgeous day and we want to be spontaneous and go on a day trip or something. So that's a decision that I made for myself. But it's still hard. It is still hard. And over the years, it's coming up to 14 years. I can't believe it. My son is turning 14. So I know it's 14 years since I started my own business. And it's been a real journey of trying to work out what works best for me. And I've tried it all. I've tried just carrying on working as normal and then just been so torn and emotionally drained by trying to be these two things hand in hand. Now, sometimes we have to have the kids at home, not for school holidays, lockdown and illness and things like that. And it can really affect the way that we see our businesses, because sometimes you might be feeling like your business only runs when you are giving it 100% attention. And when you have to step back and give something else attention, you feel like your business is suffering from it. That's something that I want to help you with. That's definitely about having the right strategy in place and the right systems and processes so that when you need to step back, when your child's ill, like it doesn't all stop, things still keep carrying on. But I've thought of like 3 different tips that I would tell you about trying to run your business while you've got your kids at home. My kids are now nearly 14 and 9, but I've been running my own business since my first son was 6 months. So I've been through all the different stages, and I really recognize as well that if you've got preschool age children, if you've got the younger ones, that comes with its own challenges. But when you get to childcare, with private childcare, you can have them in 9 till 5 and it doesn't matter about school holidays. Whereas when you suddenly have school age children, it changes the game again. So it's something that constantly evolves, like our experience of kids at school and the hours that we can work evolves. And that's why I think it's so important to build a business that is flexible around that. So my 3 tips for working at home when you've got the kids. Okay. So number 1 is about managing expectations. So that's a 3-pronged approach. You've got managing expectations of your clients and customers. You've got managing expectations of your family and your kids, and you've got managing your own expectations. So first of all, with your clients, like I said, I make it very clear that all my calls, all those kind of things are during term time only. It might not be possible for you to do that, but if it's not, I'd like you to think about why. And are you doing that because you feel like you should? I don't know. It depends on what your business is. You might really feel genuinely like, though, there's no way that I can do that. But I'd like you to question that, where you can perhaps put some boundaries that might feel a bit uncomfortable at first, but actually would save you so much stress and heartache over the longer period. So setting expectations with clients and customers, thinking about how they can get the information they need without you being there all the time. Can you use autoresponders on your emails and just let them know that there's going to be a delay in getting back to them? Can you send them an email before the holidays explaining that the holidays are coming up? If they need anything from you, they need to get in touch. Kind of set them deadlines as well for you getting your support, basically. If you're running a product-based business, can you bring on someone to help you during those periods? Hopefully you can at some point bring someone on to help you the whole time. But if you know that the school holidays, for example, are a really stressful time trying to do everything, could you bring someone on an ad hoc basis? So managing expectations with your clients and customers. There's also managing expectations with your family. Now, this depends on the age of your children. Obviously, my children are of the age where I can say to them, look, Mummy's going to work today. Mummy's going to do 2 hours work and then we're going to go out, or Mummy's going to do 1 hour work, or do you know what? You're watching TV. I'm just going to nip off and check my emails. It's much easier when they're that age that you can negotiate with them and explain to them what's going on. But I think also, we need to speak to our partners and other people in our lives about what we need. And sometimes it's really hard to communicate that. And, if you've got a partner, for example, who is working full time and they're not around during the school holidays because they're working, could you say to them, look, I really need a couple of evenings to just feel like I've got time to catch up on the really urgent stuff. So have those conversations, even though they might feel difficult. Also make sure that you're saying yes to support from any family members or friends who offer to help out with things. Don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. But I think definitely, if your kids are at an age where you can talk to them, putting those expectations in place, maybe even printing out a schedule of the week, and then they can see when you're working and when they've got you all to themselves and when you're going out and doing things, just to kind of manage that, those expectations. And lastly, about managing your own expectations, because there's nothing worse than thinking that you will be able to achieve X, Y, Z and not really taking into account all the stuff that happens in school holidays. You know, kids have meltdowns because they're not used to not having a schedule. You have family arguments because you're all together under the same roof for a longer amount of period. These things happen and they take our focus away from the business. So if you can work in flexibility in your own expectations of what you can achieve, that really, really helps, because there's nothing worse than just thinking you're going to do loads of stuff and then not getting around to it and then feeling like you failed. So try not to do that. Now, the second thing to think about is focusing on your 5% activities. This is especially important if the kids are off sick unexpectedly. So you should know in your business, what are the core actions that need to take place in order to keep the wheels turning? So this might be keeping clients happy. This might be having a way to still send out your products. What are these 5% activities? This should also include your marketing for getting new customers and things that are going to bring money into your business. So during school holidays or when the kids are sick, if you know what your 5% activities are, you can just focus down. And if you've only got 20 minutes one day to get something done, you need to be choosing things from your 5% activity list. In my opinion, school holidays, when you've got the kids around, is not the time to be launching something or, creating something new. Take the pressure off yourself. But I just want to say one thing about that is that what really works for me is because I take the pressure off myself and think, I'm not going to work, I'm not going to do calls, I will do the 5% activities. Actually, that is the time when my brain comes on fire and I have all these creative ideas. And so for me, even though I'm not working as such, I'm still thinking about things. I'm having ideas for content and I'm writing them down and I'm capturing them. But I'm using that time for kind of inspiration and blue sky thinking rather than feeling like I have to be at my desk for 3 hours today. So that's your 5% activities. And the third thing, my last tip, is to really take the pressure off yourself. So running a life-friendly business is all about being the best boss that you can be to yourself. And that means giving yourself a break. You don't have to be switched onto your business 24/7. If you feel like you do, please reach out and we can have a chat. So it really is important for you to take times where you step back and take an overview. Like I said, it's those times that I have some of the biggest light bulbs because I've taken the pressure off myself from the day to day. I'm just doing what needs to be done to keep the wheels turning and keep people happy. And that's when my brain goes, oh, okay, I've got space to think now. And all these amazing ideas come out. But also, we want to enjoy this time with the family. If you're running your own business and you're trying to do it on your own terms, and, one of the things that's important to you is spending time with the kids, allow that to be your top priority without feeling guilty. And, don't feel guilty about not being able to work. Don't feel guilty if you do need to work. If something comes up and you have to say to the kids, I'm sorry, today I've got to focus on that, it doesn't make you a bad mum. We really do need to be much kinder to ourselves. So give yourself grace during the holiday periods. So that's it. That's my 3 tips. So number 1, manage expectations, which is a 3-pronged approach. So it's your clients and customers' expectations, it's your family's expectations, and it's your own expectations of what you can achieve and what you're going to do during the time when you've got the kids at home. Number 2 is to focus on your 5% activities. What are the things that are really important? We have so much stuff on our to-do list, which is a nice to do, or someone else's urgent, but not our urgent. So you need to prioritize and be laser focused during that time when you've got the kids at home, and be realistic about what you can achieve in that time. And the last thing is to take the pressure off yourself. Be the best boss that you can be to yourself. Give yourself permission to step back from the day-to-day of your business, but also give yourself permission if you need and want to work. We need to create a balance that works for us. And it's not always possible to completely step back and switch off. I run a business that's heavily on social media. I've got my mobile phone. I'm not saying to you that I switch off and do not look at social media and do not do anything in my business during the holidays, because that's not realistic for me. But I do it on my own terms. I decide what's important to me during that period. I think about what my absolute priorities are. And the best thing about that is that if you have more time, or if you start thinking about stuff and you get more achieved, then you have that great feeling, that great sense of progress and achievement that you weren't expecting, rather than feeling deflated and frustrated because you'd told yourself that you had to do X, Y, Z and it just didn't happen. So I really hope that they are useful tips. Do let me know. And I'd love to hear from you about what you would like me to talk about on these podcast episodes, any subject matters that are close to your heart. Please do reach out, erin@lifefriendlybusiness.com, and I'd love to have a chat. Thank you for listening to the Life Friendly Business Podcast. If you'd like to make your business more life friendly, we have everything you need in the Cocoon VIP membership. The Cocoon is a fully online training and membership program that's available to you 24/7 via your laptop, tablet or smartphone. You'll have access to our extensive training library to build the skills you need to thrive, experts on hand for when you get stuck, and the sisterhood and support you need to put the wind in your sails. Join us now at lifefriendlybusiness.com/cocoon.